There's several different products out on the market today. You can go on and on. There's liquid lime, all that stuff. A lot of that stuff, when they say liquid, it's, you're using it with water, and that's the carrier. And it's almost an annual treatment because it's going to evaporate really fast, and it's only going to get in the top part of the soil. Whereas with the limestone, you incorporate it, till it into the soil 6 inches deep as they require, and that's right from the laboratory. That's where your root system, you want it to be mixed up. The more that lime, the more soil and lime can intermix. It's like I put my two hands together, each dirt particle and lime particle. That will help stabilize it and raise the pH. So you do what you want to, but do some kind of amendment if it's needed. I'm not advocating whatever you want to do. I hear it all over the Facebook and all this. This is the hottest, greatest, and I'm not going to argue that. I'm just saying, get your soil tested, amend it in your fashion. I chose pelletized lime. So that's the way that's going to go. And as it states on this, it's not a fertilizer. It's just limestone, calcium, and you put it in there. That same dust is the same dust that you breathe on a gravel road. So, you know, stand up wind, you can see it's blowing toward the camera. You dump it in, stand up wind of it. But when you get to spreading it on, it's going to be all over. Anyhow, liming the food plot is critical. Okay, to simplify this, 2 bags, 80 pounds, raises the pH 1/10. So you got 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, 4/10, 5/10, 6/10, 7/10, 8/10, 9/10, 10/10. 5.5 or 5.5 starting there. This would be hope to raise it at 6.5 at that recommended rate. So, and as this states on this package, rapid release for immediate action, you know, that's debatable, but at least you know you got lime in it. But the other Achilles heel about that, a pelletized lime does not last as long as ag lime does. Ag lime's cheaper, it lasts longer. The only problem is, as you've seen a few years back, when I put ag lime in a spreader like that, it blew the transmission out because it's too heavy. And you notice I didn't fill this to the brim because I don't want to have all that weight. I'll have to come back and get that other, I don't know, there's 4 bags times 8, that's 240 more pounds. I'll have to come back and, no, 4 times 8 is 32, so it's 320 pounds I'll have to come back, and I didn't want to put that in the spreader. So use some common sense, you know, make a couple trips if you have to, because if you break down, you're going to take a lot more time than that. So, but that would be representation of what it states on the package to raise your pH from, say, the number 5.5 to 6.5. That's how much lime you'd have to be at 80 pounds. You could go 100 pounds, which, you know, would be a few more bags more to help it, but they state 80 to 100. So here we go. Let's go put the lime on. Well, like I said this morning on the results of the soil test, when you put lime on, you're supposed to plow it in at 6 inches deep. That's where it gets down to where it does the most. I had one gentleman ask me whether I'm afraid of turning the good soil down. No. The soil that I'm turning is all good. It's full of organic matter. Matter of fact, I'm going to put more organic matter in it. I'm going to put oxygen in it. I'm going to tenderize it. Remember all the spring rains we had down there in Clark County? It beat this ground down like a sheep's foot roller, compacted it. Then the sun came out and baked it. A disc is not going to really touch it. My best apparatus to do that is the moldboard plow. Like it, hate it, tell me old-fashioned, tell me to go to hell. I really don't care. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. I'm going to get the results I want. You do what you want to do. I'm just showing you what I do. But you have to incorporate your line. It can't lay on top of the ground. And if you're using that liquid crap and you're spraying it on top of the ground, well, like I said earlier, each their own. I go with what the agronomists say to go with, and that power line or ag line. So I got to get the plowing. Plowing pretty good. As you see, the apparatus has pre-tripped my front plow and it's come back. But that's the important thing about cleaning your food plots, getting the stumps out so that you can go fast when you got to go. You don't have to be working around tree stumps and running into them. So let's get the plowing. Well, we got it plowed, got the lime turned under. This perimeter, we'll run a disc on that and chop it up real fine. It turned up real dry. Well, here it is, the 4th of August. The water's pretty black in there with a lot of dust. There's a 1/2 inch rain in that gauge right there. So, that'll help. Yeah, I'm out here going to go over some deals with you on opening this dirt up. Because it's so compacted. You know, we had a lot of rain this spring. That compacted it, then this heat dried it out. Made it hard as asphalt. And we'll go over why I'm plowing and show you the results of plowing, how you enhance the soil to absorb the moisture instead of having it run off. I want to make one thing clear. I don't need food plots to hunt over. Ray Scott in the quarterly magazine just came out from Whitetail Institute. Him and his son have stated that food plotting has become a hobby, which it has. And I enjoy it. I don't grow these food plots to kill things, that I've said over and over and over again. I grow them to grow things. I want to grow the food plot, number one. Number two, I enjoy seeing the doe with the fawns browsing on them. And number three, I would rather do something with the land than just sit there and let it do nothing. So I can hunt, and I'm a good enough hunter to hunt across the North American continent on my own and come back with an animal. And if not, I come back with an adventure. But I don't want you to conceive that the idea that you have to have a food plot. No, I've killed many a fine buck without a food plot, just by knowing how to hunt. So don't let food plotting take over your knowledge of how to hunt and your woodsmanship. Continue doing that, But if you have the hobby and the desire to plant food plots, do it. And I enjoy it. It's a family-oriented thing. I look forward to it, and that's why I plant food plots. It's not to kill the big one. All I'm doing this for is it's my hobby. It gets me back to my childhood days. And running a tractor, listening to the radio on the fender under the full moon, plowing all night and all day as a kid, non-stop. And that's what I'm doing out here. So enough with this. Well, one gentleman said you shouldn't let the food plots dominate your hunting. Well, they don't. This has nothing to do with my hunting. So let's get on with the plowing. We're plowing this soil up because it's so hard panned. I want to demonstrate if I can get one of these clods here. This is the surface of this hard pan clay. You can see the corn stubble growing out of it. As I pour that water on it, you can see it runs right off. It don't go down in there. It would take a tremendous amount of water to rehydrate that much. You'd never get down in here. The only thing that's really going to help that, there's two things: tilling it up and the freeze thaw phenomena of the wintertime. Now, as you see, as I've opened that dirt up and got the dirt loose, now when I pour the water in there, it has a tendency, it's going down in. It dissipates. Doesn't take long for that water to go down in there. I think you can see that. Almost is completely gone. I pour more water. That'll keep going down. Now, had I left it in this hard surface area, which if I had left it on this dirt here, it would have just, you see it running off? It just kept right on running off. Now you can look down at that hole. Now I've dumped water in there and it actually goes down in the hole. And that's why I'm out here tilling this up right now, is to get any moisture that we can receive here in the next few days to rehydrate the subsoil, get some water where it counts, where the seed's going to grow. It's not going to grow up on top. But it would never, the rain that we would have would just flash off the top. That's what causes flash flooding out west and down here in southern Iowa. It's not because the ground's full of water, it's because it's so hard panned it just runs off the top. So to put the soil in better health, that's why I'm tilling it up with the moldboard plow, is to get it to absorb water. Now, I've moved dirt my entire life. I started plowing gardens when I was 13 years old, and I'm 67 years old now. Usually you seal off the dirt to keep the rain from getting into it. This is one of the rare occasions that you actually leave it open face, hoping that it will absorb the moisture, and this is the fastest way to enhance that, is to leave it open face, let the moisture get in it. Other than that, that rain that you'd have if you had a half inch, an inch or whatever, you're going to get very little benefit from it until you get it tilled up. So let's get tilling it up. And you notice I got a sweatshirt on today. It's 52 degrees. Last year on this same day, the heat index was 104 and it was 97. So you talk about diversified weather patterns. Now you got a first-hand view of how hard that dirt is to plow. Proper seedbed preparation. That dirt is hard as concrete. And when I'm on that topic, unless you have somebody till your property up with bigger equipment than an ATV, you're not going to get a good seedbed in this kind of soil. Loader tillers are just going to jump up and down. Those little tillage equipment that they make for the ATV aren't even going to penetrate the top inch of the soil. I mean, that's taking that's 45 horsepower on that tractor, and it's taking everything it can do to pull through this hard pan. That's why I'm breaking it up. So if the plow can't get through it, you can't expect that little root to get through it either. So let's get the plowing. Well, as you look out across that field, I'm going to walk out there. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. That plowed hard. It would not absorb any water. So I'm going to go out here and I'm going to show you again what I was talking about. This was the surface. No penetration. That's what you would have got. None at all. But now, when I dump this water on this turned over field, it's got an avenue of penetration through the tillage. And it's going to help break up these big clods. Because like I say, now the water will be trapped in here. It can't just run off like the shingles on a roof. And that's what I say, some of you guys, and you know, you got to do with what you got. I understand that. But sometime along the way, if you're going to continue with your fruit plots, you're going to have some heavy tillage done. So if you get it tilled up, then your lighter tillage equipment for a couple years will be able to maintain it and penetrate it. But when you're in severe soil compaction like that, you're not going to get any production of any crop regardless other than weeds. And you've got to have some soil tillage, regardless what some of the experts say that you're bringing up the old seed bank. Yeah, I realize that. But then we'll deal with that later. But you've got to be able to get a root system established. And if you're only tilling about that deep with some of this minimal tillage on ATVs, unless you've had the field tilled up prior to that, you're not going to get the benefits that you need to be getting. Like I say, this piece of ground right here, you can see where this was the top of the ground. With the root system on it, that whole chunk plowed up. You're never going to get a minimal tillage into that, down into here. You're only going to be about this deep. So somewhere along the line, you'll have to go outside the box and get something to rip up your soil with. And like I say, the reason I've done this, I call it open face right now. I want the rains that's supposed to come in this weekend to get in there, rehydrate the dirt deeper. It'll make it more mellow. I could come in and disc it and hopefully get a fall food plot going with an enhanced amount of moisture with this drought going on. Yeah, remember on the onset when we poured that water in that dry dirt? There. That's what I want to happen right there. I want the moisture to go down. This was the clod that we poured it on. Didn't go anywhere. You ain't poking your finger in that. But this is to dramatize what you're looking for. That mud went clear, that water went clear down in there. That's why I'm plowing this up. Had I not plowed that up, that would have been the depth of the moisture, which it didn't even penetrate that dirt clod. So that is classroom 101 right there on trying to get moisture into the ground. Got two little visitors right there. Now I just plowed that field up and they're out there investigating. They probably never smelled plowed dirt before. I'm not kidding you, I didn't plow that field up more than 30 minutes ago. And like I said, I don't have any desire. It's not a food plot thing with me. It's not a killing thing. Now, I broke that limb off with that one little deer, that little yearling standing. And but this is amazing. And it's also amazing having a camera with you 24/7 when you're on the field. These little guys might walk right up to us. We'll just be quiet and let nature play its course. I'm standing in the shadow of a tree. My scent is blowing right to them. August 4th. About 7 o'clock in the morning.